So anyway, this is the second part no, ng ating lecture. And mahaba, actually, isa ito sa pinakamahaba po nating lecture. There will be a topic wherein doon ako magsa-stop. Tapos yung second part nun ay papaano ko po sa inyo, ipa-independent learning po sa inyo. No? Medyo 100 plus kasi yung topics na ito eh. Anyway, so let me proceed with the infections of the skin and the rest of the topics. Again, as I've mentioned, I recorded video po iyon. No, na-prepare ko na siya actually last night. So basically, it would be the same yung ating pag-uusapan. No, we need to identify the different types of skin rashes or yung mga lesions. No, clinical manifestations, recognize po natin iyan. We have to differentiate yung mga causative agents, no, mga microorganisms. Also, we need to know the laboratory diagnosis at saka yung mga prevention na ito and treatment, no? Of course. All right. So with the definition of terms, okay? So let me ask you, for, I think from 1 to 5, as far as I remember, up to, what number are we? Number 11. Ito ay na-discuss na sa RLE nyo, di ba? Kindly thumbs up na kung na-discuss po ito para i-run through na lang ni Sir yung mga macules, papules. Okay. I do believe, no, with your integumentary assessment, ito po ay na-include po, no, during your RLE. Anyway, to refresh you, so let me discuss to you the definition of terms. May mga terms po kasi na dapat pag-aralan po yung mga student nurses po natin. No? Pag nakita po nila ito sa mga patients po nila, ma-recognize po nila. No? We have there your macules. So it's a flat lesion characterized by a change in color of the affected skin. Flat lang po siya. So we can see there, do we have here? Yes, no? As far as your macule po is concerned, we have there, this one, no? Flat lang po siya. Okay? So we have another term, no, other than the macule, na pwede po siyang mag-change ng color, no, of the affected skin. Meron din po tayong papule. Okay? It's a raised lesions, solid in consistency, pero kung i-measure po siya, it's less than 5 mm. Okay? We have there, sample, no, a macule here, no, sa taas. We have also there a plaque. Pangatlo po natin, no? Flat po siya with elevated surface, no? A plateau-like with more than 5 mm yung diameter. So medyo ano po siya, malapad po siya, no? More than 5 mm. Okay? So we have here a plaque na nakikita niyo po sa image. We have also nodules. It's a rounded raised lesions, more than 5 mm. Okay, pag less than 5 mm na maliit lang, that's your papule. Pag medyo more than 5 mm na siya na raised lesion, rounded, that's your nodule. Okay, that one. Okay, we have also your urticaria. These are hives or wheals, no, ring-like papular or papules or plaques with pinkish color. Okay, very common po yan pag may mga allergies. That one, urticaria. Okay. So we have also there, another one is your vesicles. These are fluid filled, no, circumscribed fluid filled lesion less than 5 mm in diameter. Vesicles, yan, that one. Yung nakikita nyo sa taas, no? That one, very common po iyan pag may mga skin diseases such as your, what's this? Yung may mga chicken pox. Okay. So we have another one. Okay. Your bullae, circumscribed fluid shape, no, more than 5 mm. Mas malaki lang to siya ng konti, no? Yung ano na to, fluid-like ano na to, lesion. We have your pustules, exudate filled lesions. Okay, pag may mga nana, lalo na pag nagtutubo sa mga skins po ninyo, no? That's pustules. It's a pus-like, pus fluid filled, no, sa skin. Okay? So we have also there your purpura, skin lesions, no, due to bleeding into the skin. Pwede po siyang ma-describe as your petechiae and your ecchymosis. Okay? Petechiae, it's less than 3 mm, no, diameter. Ecchymosis, yun po yung more than 3 mm in diameter. And mostly, nagkakaroon po yan ng bleeding, no, sa loob po yan. Let's say, sinuntok, no? Sinuntok, tapos na nag-rupture, let's say, yung blood vessel, nagkaroon po ng bleeding. Okay? Pwede po siya kasing ganung cases. No? We have your ecchymosis, lalo nakikita mo ito sa mga pinalo, no? Pinalo na nagkaroon po ng dugo sa loob. Okay? Na nag-manifest mga physically abused na mga tao, nakikita mo po yung mga ganyang klaseng signs sa kanila. No? Next there is your ulcer, crater-like lesion that may be evolved in the deep layers of the dermis, in dermis. Okay, ulcerated, lalo na pag may mga diabetic yung patient. No? Pag yung mga sugat hindi masyadong nag-heal, ay pwede pong magkakaroon ng ulcerated, no, yung mga tissues po nila. We have there also your eschar, okay, which is a necrotic ulcer covered with a blackened scab or a crust. Kaya po yung term po nila, your eschar. And sa mga diseases po may mention po natin, may include po yung mga ganyan. So be able to familiar with those definition of terms. Okay. So right now we will talk about bacterial skin infections that are very common, no? Very common po na nagkakos po ng skin infections. And the following are pag-uusapan po natin ng mga etiologic agents. So kanina na-mention po natin si Staphylococcus aureus. Okay, so hindi lang po siya included sa eye infections, pwede din po siya sa bacterial skin infections, no? We have there your Staphylococcus epidermidis, your Streptococcus pyogenes, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, your Clostridium perfringens, and your Bacillus anthracis. Okay? So, unahin na po natin yung Staphylococcus aureus. So, in terms of morphology, I think nabanggit ko na po iyan kanina, no? So, gram-positive, grape-like clusters, no? Short chains, common found in skin and nasopharynx, di ba? Yun po yung kaninang nabanggit ni Sir. Okay? So, in terms of its, pag tinignan niyo po siya sa microscope, no? Again, or even sa gram staining, no? Grape-like clusters, no? Gram-positive cocci, gray to golden colonies, yan po yung nabanggit ko din kanina. Okay? So, yan po yung itsura niya. Grape-like, no? Pag tinignan mo sa microscope. Okay? So, yan po yung characteristics niya. Okay. So paano niyo po siya ma-differentiate, no, from streptococci, kasi sometimes paano mo ngayon na masabi na streptococci siya or di kaya staphylococcus po siya, kasi may mga ganong instances. Okay? Kanina na mention ko through catalase test, pwede po siyang a diagnosis or diagnostic test using catalase test. Masasabi mo pag catalase positive po siya, no, na-include po siya as what? As your Staphylococcus. Okay, pag negative po yung catalase test niya, siya po ay streptococci. Okay? So ganun lang po yung analysis po diyan. So nagagawa po 'yan using your catalase test. Okay? How it differentiates it, no, from other Staphylococcus? Lalo na ano po sila? There are different types kasi ng Staphylococcus. To understand that, para ma-differentiate mo sila na siya ay Staphylococcus aureus, for example, no, kailangan po yan ng catalase test. No? So, sa catalase test kasi, pag nagiging catalase test, catalase positive po siya, ma-differentiate mo siya with other, what's this? With other Staphylococci. Okay? So, to differentiate that, meron po silang coagulase. Yan nga, no? na ginagawa ng enzyme ng ating Staphylococcus aureus. Okay? So, nagpo-form po yan ng, kina-convert na po ng coagulase yung fibrinogen to fibrin. Okay? Now, during the test, malalaman mo, no, let's say, mag-a-add ka po dyan ng plasma dun sa fibrinogen na yan. Kung meron pong nagka-clog at saka nag-form ng fibrin, which is naging positive po siya, okay, it would indicate na si Staphylococcus aureus, yun po yung mase-separate mo po siya na siya po ay Staphylococcus aureus. Okay, madi-differentiate mo po siya sa iba. Kasi kung walang nangyari, walang clogging, lalo-lalo na paglagay mo ng plasma, walang nangyari. Okay, so madi-differentiate mo siya, no, with the other Staphylococcus. Pag Staphylococcus aureus, again, nagka-clog po yan, no? Nagpo-form po yan ng fibrin. Okay, kaya madi-differentiate mo siya with the other Staphylococci. Kasi meron tayong S. epidermidis, no? Staphylococcus saproticus, same species of Staphylococcus. Pero para ma-differentiate mo siya with Staphylococcus aureus, no, nangangailangan po siya ng ganitong klaseng diagnostic test. Okay? So other important information po, no, with regard to Staphylococcus aureus, commonly found in the nostrils. I think na-mention ko na po yung kanina. Nako-considered mo siya as our normal flora, increased levels of breaks na sa skin. Right? It can lead to infection. The organism produce enzymes and toxins. So yan, nabanggit ko na din yan kanina yung mga kanilang virulence. No? For the mode of transmission, pwede po siyang direct contact with a person kasi bacteria po siya. No? Pag sinabi natin direct contact, pwede po yan touching, no? Pwedeng what? Pwede mo din i-kiss, okay? Or contact with body lesions, okay? There are sometimes, or pwede din siya makuha through sexual contact, okay? Contact with oral secretions, okay? Yan po yung mga pwedeng ma-transmit. Okay. So having purulent lesions from hands of the healthcare workers and through fomites, okay, like bed linens and contaminated clothing, pwede din po yan ma-transmit. Kaya, of course, lesson sa mga nurses po dito, okay, you always wash your hands, no? Dapat may mga good hand hygiene po tayo. So what are the common clinical findings po dito na makikita kasi we're talking about skin infection, okay? Clinical findings na makikita po dito sa mga pasyente po ninyo, no, as far as this skin infection is concerned is your folliculitis. Okay, very very common po ito nangyayari. Okay, so this is a pus-producing pustules, no? Pyogenic infection involving lalo-lalo na pag nag-penetrate po siya sa hair follicle. Di ba may mga layers of skin po tayo? Right? Are you familiar with the layers of your skin? Okay. So we have your epidermis, dermis, no, and hypodermis. And usually, meron po tayo dyang hair follicle. If that particular skin infection, no, lalo-lalo na nag-reach po siya dun sa merong inflammation and na-inflame po yung hair follicle, tinatawag po siyang folliculitis. And that is a very common clinical findings na nakikita po sa skin ng isang tao, no, pag yan po ay folliculitis. Okay? So, very ano po yan. May mga treatment din naman po dyan, no? Pero syempre, as far as the term is concerned, dapat, no, ma-recognize niyo po siya. Okay? So, another thing na pwedeng i-cause niya, no, ng ganitong bacteria is your furuncle. Okay? This is an extension of your folliculitis. So kumbaga pa, severe form, o hindi naman severe form, parang next level, no, ng folliculitis. And it is commonly known as your boil. Yan, kung nakikita niyo sa image. Okay? Meron na po siyang malaking pus-like. And na-mention po natin if it's more than the 5 mm, no, compared dun sa pustule, tinatawag na po siyang nodules, right? Now with underlying collection of dead and necrotic tissue, tinatawag po siyang furuncle. Okay? And also, if we have here the image no, kung nakikita niyo dito, we have there the boil or furuncles with abscess, kaya nakikita niyo na i-inflame po siya. Once na i-inflame po siya, tingnan niyo yung sa upper surface, no, namumula po siya. Siyempre, there's an inflammation going on. Kaya meron pong redness na pwedeng makita. Okay? So that is your boil or your furuncle. So kung lalaki pa po siya, yan po yung tinatawag na carbuncle. No? Represents a coalescence of furuncles that extends into the subcutaneous tissue with multiple sinus tracts. I don't know kung may ganyan kayo nakikitang mga klaseng skin infection. Okay? Your Staphylococcus aureus can also cause your flagellum or di kaya yung stye. Okay? It's folliculitis, no, na pwede pong mangyari sa base po ng eyelids, katulad po sa image na po yan. Okay? Yan po yung flagellum. Okay? And very common, no, sa nangyayari po as your Staphylococcus is concerned, ay yung pong tinatawag na impetigo. Okay? Very common po ito na nangyayari, nagsistart po siya as flat, no, na macule, and then nagiging pus-filled po siya ang vesicle, tapos nagka-crust po siya eventually, or yung tinatawag nilang honey-colored crust nga. No? Pwede itong ma-cause ni Staphylococcus aureus. And at the same time, pwede din po kay S. pyogenes. Dalawa sila. So, sa isang bata na nagkaroon po ng ganitong or your impetigo, lalo na pag nag-honey-colored crust po siya, yan po ay cause, no, ng ating S. aureus or di kaya your S. pyogenes. Okay? We have also, pang-anim is your Ritter's disease or your SSSS, apat na S. Okay? So, ito po ay nangyayari lalo-lalo na sa mga newborns and children. It is manifested by a sudden onset of your perioral erythema, or that is the redness. No? Pag diniinan mo yan kasi ng pressure, nagkakaroon po yan ng Nikolsky sign. Okay? I don't know if this video is playable. Let me check. I think it's not playable. Let me play this one. Hindi po siya. Hindi siya playable. Okay, but then, sa skin na po yan, nade-displace kasi yan yung mga superficial layers ng skin. Kahit push mo lang, parang nade-displace yan yung skin. Okay? So, yung tawag po nun is Nikolsky sign. Lalo na sa may mga Ritter's disease. Okay? Konting ganun mo lang yan sa skin nila, parang hihiwalayan yung skin na nade-displace po yung skin na yan. Okay? Let me check if this video, I think this is the video. I don't know if it's playable. Let me check this.
Nikolsky sign. So this, if you put this, it's bending because the blisters negative.
Ayan.
ASBO.
Naririnig niyo ba yung sound?
The blister is not
Or hindi? Nadidinig niyo.
not extending.
Ayan,
But
pag pinush mo siya,
if
ayan.
you push
Yung sa skin layer,
on
ayan, may
it,
naglalabas
it's
po ng
Nikolsky sign.
fluid field.
And basically, it's
Yun
a
po yung
pop
Nikolsky sign.
blister. And, I mean,
Parang
the whole point is
blister siya, no?
the skin would
So, actually, yun po yung isa sa mga ginagawang effect, no, or the exfoliative toxins, no, na ginagawa po ng your Ritter's disease. Okay?
move.
And then, yun nga yung blister formation will soon follow and later undergo desquamation. So, antibodies against your exfoliative toxin are produced within 7 to 10 days, enabling the skin to become intact again. Kasi syempre, part yan ng ating immune system. No? Nare-recognize po yan na gumagawa po ng antibodies po yung katawan po natin. Kaya yung skin po natin, kung maganda yung takbo ng immune system, nagiging intact ulit yan yung skin na yan. Okay? So, yung toxin that responsible, no, as far as your Staphylococcus is concerned, is your exfoliative, no, na toxin. I think nabanggit natin yan yung mga kanina. Okay? So, only the outer layer of the epidermis is affected. Hence, there will be no scarring. Walang scarring kasi epidermal or epidermis po yung dinadamage. Okay? So, if we are gonna furtherly an in-depth look sa image na to, this is the normal skin sa left side. This is your SSSS na disease sa skin. Wherein na-displace po yung mga tawag dyan, yung mga layers. Kaya kasi na-displace po sila, yung distribution niya hindi maganda kasi mayroong fluid field, di ba? Kaya nag-expand po siya. Kaya konting ganun mo, nagkakaroon po ng parang blister formation, no? Yung nakikita nyo kanina sa video. Okay? So, laboratory identification, of course, it will involve your gram staining. No? Pag nakikita po siya as gray, golden, yellow, gram-positive cocci, yan po yung ma-identify po siya. And if you will conduct a diagnostic test, such as your catalase test and yung coagulase test, nagiging positive po siya. Okay? So for the treatment, we have your beta-lactam, penicillin, which is or antibiotics. Yun po yung pine-prescribe po ng mga doktor, lalo-lalo na sa S. aureus. There will be tendency na nagkakaroon po ng resistance. Okay? Yung mga S. aureus sa penicillin, kaya nagbibigay ng ibang medications. So, oxacillin is the only penicillin-derived antibiotic that has remained active against your S. aureus. And other than your antibiotics, piniperform din yung IND or tinatawag na incision and drainage. Lalo-lalo na pag sobrang daming pus filled yung tissue, ini-incise po yan and then dinidrain po yung mga pus. Ayan po yung tinatawag na IND. Okay, and soft tissue infection is also necessary. Okay, so next, another skin infection or causative agent that can cause your bacterial skin infection is your S. epidermidis. And your S. epidermidis, ito po yung normal flora po siya ng skin. Pero usually, associated po siya with conditions such as your stitch abscesses. Okay? Yan po yung mga, let's say, pag may mga sugat ka sa kamay, in-stitch po siya and then in a matter of time, nagkaroon ng infection dyan sa skin na yan. Most likely, it is caused by your S. epidermidis kasi normal flora po siya dyan. Pwede niya kasi na-penetrate yung deeper layer niyan. Di ba dapat nasa labas na siya? Ngayon may sugat. Pwede niya i-penetrate po yan. Kaya nagkakaroon po ng inflammation. Yun po yung tawag nilang stitches or stitch abscess. Also, it can cause your UTI, okay, your endocarditis, and also infections of prosthetic devices. Okay? UTI, di ba sa kidney yun? Urinary tract infections. We have your pericarditis, muscles ng part po ninyo. And this one is yung mga prosthetics na na-mention kanina. Paano po siya magkakos? Kasi syempre prosthetic, di ba, nag-attach po sa skin and it can actually cause, what's this? Harm sa paa and baka magkasugat, and then the sugat, pag may sugat, pwede po yung mag-infect po yung S. epidermidis. Okay? Kaya pwede din siya makakos ng skin infection. Okay? So pangatlo is your Streptococcus pyogenes. Okay? So Streptococcus pyogenes po natin are actually gram-positive cocci arranged in chains. Yan po yung itsura niya. Gram-positive na sa chains po siya. Okay? So since streptococci po siya, so pag kinandak mo ng catalase test, ay nagiging negative po siya. Unlike po sa Staphylococcus po natin, positive po ng catalase positive. Okay? So, microscopic view ng Streptococcus pyogenes po natin, if we are gonna look it under the microscope. And your streptococcus kung may M protein, hindi po siya na-phagocyze or na-destroy ng mga phagocytic cells. Okay? So your S. pyogenes also produces, may toxins and may enzymes din po siya, no, na nagkakos po ng kanyang pathogenicity niya po. Okay? There are also containing capsules or encapsulated po sila which can again evade your phagocytosis. Yan po yung mga ano po nila, yung mga ano po nila, yung mga characteristics po nila, no, na nagiging virulent factor po sila. Okay, so mode of transmission, direct contact with infected persons or through fomites, no, commonly sa mga bacteria, right? So here, nakikita din po ulit natin dito, pyoderma or your impetigo. Kasi kanina na-mention po natin, it could either be cause po ng inyong, what? Staphylococcus aureus, right? So dito, your S. pyogenes. Okay. So it's a purulent skin infection that is localized. Yan, yun yung kanina, binanggit ko na ito kanina. At saka nagiging honey-colored skin po siya. Or honey-colored crust. Okay. So we have there also your St. Anthony's fire. Okay. Yung hallmark po nito ng ganitong klaseng symptoms ay meron po siyang pain, erythema, and warmth here. Located po sa kaniyang dito sa face and nose niya. Parang nagiging butterfly appearance po iyan. Yung nakikita niyo sa image. Okay? There is accompanying lymphadenopathy. Okay? Or nai-inflame po yung lymph nodes and systemic manifestations. Pero commonly, that is the butterfly appearance is the hallmark, no, ng ganyang klaseng sakit. Okay? Or tinatawag po nila Anthony's or St. Anthony's fire. Okay? And dermal layer po usually yung ano niya, or superficial dermal layer po yung tama niya na ito. Eh, di ba meron tayong epidermis, dermal layer or dermis. Okay? Next, or this one, no? So, pansinin po ninyo here, we have the dermis and we have your epidermis and we have the dermis, right? Sa image po natin. So, yung tama niya or yung affected side niya is the dermis at saka your superficial dermal layer. Kasi malapit na sa dermis, no? So, it involves the superficial dermis layer at saka yung epidermis. Yan po yung ano niya, yan po yung localized niyang inflammation. Okay? Yan po yung tinatawag na St. Anthony's fire. Also, your S. pyogenes can cause your cellulitis, involves the skin, no? It's a subcutaneous tissue. Okay? It is normally, no, sa cellulitis, yung reddened skin na ito is clearly defined compared dun kay erysipelas. Okay? And is or your St. Anthony's yung infection na yun. And it's often dark red or slightly purplish. Kung nakikita niyo po sa image na po yan, yung paa. Okay? Cellulitis. And actually sa mga diabetic nakikita din po yan. Yung cellulitis po yan. We have also medyo severe lang nga po ito, no? And your S. pyogenes actually, no, can cause can eat the flesh lalo na pag it goes beyond the subcutaneous tissue, no? Pwede niya kasing i-destroy, no, yung tissue na iyon. And that disease or that condition is known as your necrotizing fasciitis. No, it involves the deep, and this time, no, subcutaneous tissue. We have your epidermis, we have your dermis, we have your subcutaneous. No, so pag nag-go beyond pa to doon, no, saka kung yung cause nun is your S. pyogenes, pwede niya po yung kainin yan. Okay? So this is also known as your streptococcal gangrene. No? So una-una, magsa-start na po siya ng cellulitis, and then it becomes bolus, and then na magiging gangrene na po siya. That's like nakikita niyo po sa picture. And pag ganyan po yung skin ng isang tao, no, it can actually cause systemic infection or even your multiple organ failure. Nang mamamatay po yan yung pasyente po dyan pag ganyan. Lalo na pag hindi naagapan. Okay? So complications, we have there your acute glomerulonephritis, okay, or inflammation of your glomerulus. We have there your rheumatic fever and suppurative and immune mediated complications. Ayan. So commonly, yung acute glomerulonephritis is more commonly associated with skin infections. And your rheumatic fever is usually associated with throat infection. Of course, kasi dito yun eh. If you're familiar with rheumatic heart disease, so kung usually affected yung mga tonsils po ninyo, lagi kang nilalagnat, pwedeng bababa yung bacteria and it could affect the heart. No? Kaya tinatawag po siyang rheumatic heart disease. Pero pag may mga rheumatic fever, throat infection yung yung location nun, it might be the cause ng S. pyogenes kasi pwede po siyang mag-cause ng rheumatic fever. Okay. So for how do we diagnose that? We have your gram staining pa rin. No? And through morphology, ma-identify po yan ng laboratory technician. We have your culture as well, yung blood agar kasi nagkakause po siya ng beta hemolysis. We have also your bacitracin test wherein it's a form of antibiotic. Makikita niyo po yung zone of susceptibility, zone of inhibition niya po. Makikita mo na dinedestroy niya po, nagkakaroon po ng zone of inhibition kasi na nagkakaroon po ng sensitivity yung mga bacteria dun sa zone na yon. Okay? Kung nakikita niyo po sa image na po dyan, dun sa right side, no, merong antibiotic and then merong malaking circle, yun po yung zone of inhibition kasi namamatay sila with the presence of that antibiotic. The drug of choice here is your penicillin. Okay? Pag may allergy sa penicillin, pwede pong macrolides or your cephalosporins. Okay? Pag may mga drainage or presence of pus, pwede din po yan, no? I-debride po yan, okay? Para makuha po yung mga pus. Kasi hindi pwedeng nasa loob po yung pus, di ba? Yung mga infective tissues na yan. Kaya minsan ina-IND, okay? Kaya para makuha po yung mga pus doon sa loob. Okay? All right. Pang-apat, okay, with regards to bacterial infections, we have there your Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Okay? So your Pseudomonas aeruginosa, in terms of its gram staining niya po, it's a gram-negative bacilli. At saka encapsulated po siya. Okay? And pag bacilli, alam po natin na rod shape po yan. Right? So yung itsura niya for the under a microscope. Yan. And I think nabanggit ko na yung virulence factor niya po kanina, right? Yung mga na-mention ko po dyan, yung mga virulence niya po. And commonly, nakakos po siya yung pigment, no? Water-soluble pigment, yung niacin, blue. Okay, yung pyocyanin pala. So a common mode of transmission is through the colonization of previously injured skin. Siyempre, pag injured skin po yan, di ba? Talagang magpe-penetrate po yun doon. And eventually, magkakos po yun ng infection. Okay? So, your P. aeruginosa, pag nag-colonize na po siya, let's say sa open wound, okay? Na nakakarakterize po siya ng color, yun yung blue-green na pus. And yung odor po niya, no, nakakarakterize po as a sweet grape-like odor. Okay? And actually, it can be messy or parang hindi siya maganda po siyang tignan, no? Pag may mga ganyang klaseng characteristic. Nagiging bluish discoloration. Indicative po yan usually ng Pseudomonas, no? aeruginosa. Yan pa yung itsura niya. Okay? That's one also. Showing the Pseudomonas infection, no, with the entire dressing. Dressing na nga, no, nagiging kulay green. It's because of the pyocyanin. Okay? So we have also your osteochondritis, no, of the foot, and it is actually caused by your Pseudomonas aeruginosa din as well, no? Na titignan niyo naman, no? Pati yung buto na ano niya, na nakaya niyang i-infect. Okay? So for your laboratory diagnosis, it says there, we have there the gram staining. Of course, ano po natin yan, ma-diagnose po natin if it's a gram positive or gram negative. So in the case of your Pseudomonas aeruginosa, it's gram negative, no, bacilli. Pwede din po siya i-culture test, no? Kasi pag kinulture niyo po iyan, ay makikita niyo po yung biocyanine na yan, no? Or even the smell, yung sweet grape-like odor. Okay? And if you are going to have an oxidase test po dyan, it turned out na nagiging positive po siya. Okay? Pero usually, yung mga test na yan ay hindi po kinakandak ng mga nurses. No? Yun po yung mga in charge po sa laboratory po na. Okay, for the treatment and prevention, your P. aeruginosa are mostly sensitive or resistant pala, no, sa mga antibiotics. So, mas maganda kung culture insensi mo sila or culture and sensitivity. Wherein nag-order po yan ng yung doktor na culture and sensi para ma-detect kung yung antibiotic na yan ay intended talaga sa ganung sakit. No? Madami kasi madami yung mga ini-expose sila dun sa mga antibiotics kung saan yung effective or saan sila nagiging sensitive. Yan po yung ginagawa po nila. No? Preventive measures for control of your P. aeruginosa should be focused, no, on how do we prevent that? Of course, hand hygiene, no, cleaning of equipment, okay, avoiding cross-contamination from hospital personnel, kaya kailangan ng mga personal protective equipment po natin. Okay, so very important po yan, lalo na sa hospital setting po na. Okay, so pang 5 po natin is your Clostridium perfringens. Okay. So your Clostridium perfringens naman, pag sa gram staining po natin, these are gram-positive bacilli, no? And are anaerobic in nature. Kasi usually nakikita po sila sa soil there, no, sa ating image. Okay? So, para sa kanila, anaerobic po sila kasi yung oxygen, with the presence of oxygen, nagiging toxic po ito para sa kanila. Okay? Ibig po sabihin, hindi po sila nagre-require ng oxygen para mabuhay. Okay? Pero kung na-expose sila actually sa environment, ay nag-aano po sila, nagkakaroon po sila ng formation of your spores para ma-adapt po nila yung ganong environment. Okay? So, even sa hot temperature, nabubuhay po sila, it's because of the spores. Okay? Nakaka-survive po sila even with the extreme heat. It's because of the spore. Ganun po silang nag-a-adapt sa environment po nila. Okay? Yan po yung itsura, no, ng Clostridium perfringens po natin under a microscope. Okay? So may mga toxins po itong pinoproduce, lalo na yung alpha, beta, iota, no, and epsilon toxins. But so sa 4 na toxins na yon, i-highlight po natin yung alpha toxin na po yan kasi ito po yung most lethal, no, na nagko-cause po ng hemolysis or even bleeding or destruction ng mga tissue po sa isang host, sa isang tao. Okay? So it is widely distributed in nature and particularly associated with soil and water contamination with disease. Again, what is the lesson there? Or education to your patients, of course, no? And hygiene, okay? Thorough cooking ng tubig, no? Lalo na pag highly endemic po yung mga ganong klase sakit. Okay, next. So mode of transmission, transmitted by colonization of the skin of following physical trauma or surgery. Pwede din po ito mangyari. Kasi pwede po sila mag-penetrate sa skin lalo-lalo na pagkatapos ng surgery or di kaya may trauma. Okay? So this is actually one of the most life-threatening na ginagawa po ng C. perfringens. Lalo-lalo na pag it can cause your gas gangrene. Tignan mo naman po yung image na po iyan. No? Yan po yung tinatawag na gas gangrene. Okay? So, nagkakaroon po ng massive tissue necrosis or death, cell death. Okay? Meron po yung gas, no? Gas formation doon, no? And it can actually lead to a septic shock. Mamamatay po yung tao po dyan. Okay? Kaya kung di po yan naagapan, mamamatay po yung tao. So, yan po yung isa sa delikado po ng C. perfringens. Okay. Next, for the laboratory diagnosis. Okay, so again, we can see here that pwede po tayong gumawa ulit ng urine gram staining po natin, no? In order to detect ano po siya, kung gram positive or gram negative po siya. Okay, and we can also culture yung mga ganitong bacteria. And lalo-lalo na pag anaerobic condition po siya nabubuhay na makaklasify po siya. Gram positive bacilli and anaerobic, no? Pag kinulture mo po siya. So makaklasify po siya, no, na Clostridium perfringens po siya. Okay. So what else? Treatment and prevention. Kailangan po i-debride po yung wound kasi nakikita niyo naman kanina sa image, grabe yung ano niya, na nagkakaroon po ng tissue death doon sa loob. No? So kailangan po yan undergo po ng debridement. No? And a high dose of penicillin therapy kasi syempre presence of secondary bacterial infection kaya nangailangan po ng treatment ng antibiotics. Okay? Para ma-manage po yung disease na iyan. Okay. So, yung pang-anin po natin is your Bacillus anthracis. Okay? Hallmark po na ito, pag nakita niyo po or nakita ito sa microscope ay meron po siyang bamboo fishing rod or medusa head-like na appearance. This one. Yan. Yan po yung itsura niya if it will be viewed under a microscope. Lalo-lalo na in terms of morphology. Okay? Pero in terms of its, characteristics niya po, aerobic naman po siya. In other words, nabubuhay po siya, no, with the presence of oxygen. Spore forming, lalo-lalo na sa environment, hindi favorable sa kanya, nagpo-produce po siya ng spore. And then, may capsule din po siya, which could evade your phagocytosis. Okay? So these are the virulence niya, no, na-mention na po, no. It can cause your edema toxin and may mga toxins din po siya, no, little toxin that can actually cause or inhibit yung immune response ng isang tao or yung host. And yung anthracis nyo, if you're familiar with your anthrax, madami kasi yung ini-infect. Pwede po sa respiratory. Sa case po natin ay skin, no? Skin po dito. Pero pag respiratory kasi pag ginagamit po siya as form of yung for bioterrorism, syempre kung for the respiratory, magiging mahina yung mga sundalo kasi nahihirapan sila sa paghinga, no? Yung mga anthrax. I don't know if you're familiar with those disease before, no? Pero ginagamit po siya as a bioterrorism, no? For the mode of transmission, your B. anthracis is transmitted through inoculation, no? Kapag may open wound, no? Open skin. Either the soil or infected animal products. Pwede din po ma-ingest through meat or milk. No? Kasi it can actually affect your digestive system as well. And as I mentioned ko kanina, it can also affect your respiratory. Kaya pwede din siya nakuha through inhalation of your aerosolized spores. Okay. So anthrax is a disease herbivore. There are 3 forms of anthrax. Ito na yung tinabi ko kanina, no? Cutaneous, that involves your skin. Gastrointestinal, yun yung na-mention ko kanina, pwede mong kainin and then papasok po sa GI tract nyo. Or pwede din through your lungs as a form of pulmonary anthrax. Pero the most common form na nangyayari po dito is your cutaneous anthrax or yung involving the skin. Okay? So, ito po yung nagiging itsura niya pag manifestation sa skin, no? Painless papules, and eventually na nag-develop po siya as your scar. Yung parang nangingitim po siya. Okay? So, yun po yung pinakita nating image nung first few slides po natin. Okay? So, your cutaneous na anthracis is the least dangerous of the types. Okay? Pero, what do you think is the most dangerous? Siyempre, yung sa involves your respiratory. Okay? So this is associated with painful lymphadenopathy and your edema. Okay? Next, for your laboratory, we can have a peripheral blood that contains a large number of your B anthracis. At saka pwede po yan makita sa gram staining. No? Pag nakita sa gram staining, yun po yung medusa-like na itsura. Okay? And it can be also seen or demonstration of the spores kasi may spore forming ito, no? Using your Dorner stain or your Wirtz Conklin stain. Yan, kikita po sa image po natin. These are malalaking yung may mga arrows po, no? Those are your spore forming with a particular cutaneous anthracis. So treatment of choice, penicillin as a form of antibiotics or your doxycycline, no? Pwede din the drug of choice po natin. And there are cases na nagiging resistant po sila. Kaya yung nare-recommend po is your ciprofloxacin. But these drugs, of course, are mainly prescribed by the doctor. Okay? So yung pinaka-prevention po natin dito is of course vaccination, lalo-lalo na sa animals and individuals na at risk ng mga animal handlers, veterinarians, no? Kasi pwede po kasi itong makuha through inhalation, di ba? Pwede itong makuha sa mga meat na kinakain po, no? Military personnel and are those working in slaughterhouses. Okay? Okay. So your fungal infections, yan po ay mai-include na po, no, sa next video po natin na i-discuss po ni Sir.